praise the Globe for their big exclusive. Remember, this is the publication that, in an act of incredible bad taste, published the autopsy photographs of the slain 6-year-old. As a result, 2 of the men they paid for those pictures have served or are serving short prison terms and community service. So on the one hand, they have that shame. On the other hand, they have been very aggressive and have broken some stories. Tony Frost, the editor, tell us exactly what your reporter, the conditions under which he caught up with John Ramsey and what the dialogue was.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to say that I'm very sorry that these 2 guys went to jail for 3 days, but we're not ashamed we printed those photographs. We believe we did a public service in publishing them. But, Geraldo, last week, Joe Mullins, Globe's news editor, caught up with John Ramsey as he stepped off a jet from Atlanta. And as he walked across the arrivals building at Denver Airport, we put it to him that he was the prime suspect, is the prime suspect, and he replied, "I didn't do it, damn it." And then he added in the next breath, "I'm innocent."
So that is the first public denial from the lips of John Ramsey to a reporter. Repeat exactly the quote again, Tony.
The quote, Geraldo, is, "I didn't do it, damn it." And then he added, "I'm innocent."
Any other conversation between the reporter and
Yes,
Mr.
he was also asked about the evidence of previous sexual abuse in the autopsy report, and he said not so. He was also asked to comment about Boulder DA Alex Hunter's vow to hunt down the killer and show no mercy, and he simply said no comment. He was then asked if he would be returning to Colorado to turn himself in, and he replied firmly no. And when he was asked about how such a grisly murder could happen in his own home without he or his wife knowing it, he simply shook his head and said no comment. What was significant about this interview was Mr. Ramsey's behavior. He was very, very aloof, my news editor Joe Mullins says, extremely aloof, which bordered almost on arrogance. It was almost a case of how dare you ask me these questions.
Okay, Tony Frost, thank you. Carol, McKinley, comment?
Oh, gosh, well, my hat's off to him for finally getting John Ramsey to talk. It's very interesting to me. The aloofness, I don't understand. It kind of goes along with the fact that the family hasn't talked to the police. You wonder why the aloofness. You wonder what's going through his mind and why he finally did talk and why to the Globe.
Well, it could be that the reporter, I don't know, identifying himself from the Globe or not, I don't know if that is the case. But I do know that Pat Corton, the spokesman, confirms that this encounter took place. John Suderman, you're an anchor and reporter for our affiliate Channel 2 here in the Denver Boulder area. What is the mood in the community? Is there a feeling, as far as your reporting can tell you, that these people, the Ramseys, are being treated differently than an ordinary murder suspect might be treated? Or is there a feeling in the community that they are being hounded and being excoriated unfairly?
I think it's both, Geraldo, but I sense, I'll be honest with you, I've been spending some of my days off in Boulder trying to kind of see what I can come up with, and I sense a real rage. And also, people say to me also, where is the rage? I'm surprised, frankly, that at the news conferences no public citizens show up. And I'm really not sure where this is all coming from, but I've had people at my station come up to me and say, hey, these reporters just lobbing these questions in, you know, what's going on?
You know, it is interesting, Carol, that I was with the mayor, Leslie Durgan, of Boulder yesterday. We had coffee, and I asked her about the intense level of interest in the case, and she said, you know something, it is unusual, but the coverage here in Boulder is not any greater or more comprehensive than the national coverage. It is almost as if the people of Boulder would like this whole thing to go away.
Oh, I totally agree with that. I think that there are a lot of people in Boulder who, it's been over 2 months now, and basically people are up to here with it. People in Boulder have been living with this for 2 months. People nationally just started catching on, what, a month and a half ago. And so at this point, I think people in Boulder just want it solved. There's so much unwanted attention on their town. But they're starting to ask questions, I'm seeing, though, more than they did.
Ask questions about the family's behavior.
Well, the family's behavior, the police's behavior, there are both sides. I mean, I think you have two sides here. People who are on the side of the police and get the investigation going, leave them alone. and people on the side of the media to ask the important questions.
It is, it seems clear that there is this feud going on. Gerald and Merritt, if the Ramseys were the Smiths, wouldn't their butts have been dragged down to police headquarters where they would have had to invoke the Fifth Amendment?
I hope not. I mean, it's definitely a possibility, but you have to remember that everybody has a right not to talk to the police. It's clear that
Do they have a right not to go down to police headquarters?
Well, not if you're arrested and taken down there. But if they ask you politely, you don't have to come, but would you please come? Of course you have a right to refuse. And if they're going to be arrested, the police should have probable cause to arrest them. But the point is that people, when this happens to them and you're not a lawyer, the thing that you do is you call a lawyer because you should get advice on how to handle it. And if you haven't handled it before, all you can really do is put your trust in the person that you've hired to take care of this for you. And I really think the Ramseys should not be blamed for the advice that they're getting because, frankly, it's good advice.
We'll be right back.